Hi, thanks for joining me on Wilderness with Amani. I'm at the Saddlebag Lake Trailhead again, and today, for the first time, I'm going to hike up to Conness Lakes, and I'm going to be looking for some golden trout. I read were up there. So if I hike all the way up there and there's brook trout, I'm going to be pissed. We don't know until we go. So I think I'm looking at about, I'd say, 4-mile hike, 4.5-mile hike. If you're looking for exact mileage and GPS and stuff like that, that channel's over there. This is the Wilderness with Amani universe. You get a lot of I think and roughly. So let's start hiking before the sun hits the trail. So since I was here a couple weeks ago, they just put up these killer new signs, and this is a great map for people like me that don't have a map with them. So this is where we are. You are here. That's us. And we're going to be hiking. I'm going to take the long route around the lake because I don't like hiking on this side of the lake because it's got too much rough rocks to cross. But we're going to hike over, cross the back of the lake, and then we're going to hike along Greenstone Lake, and then we're going to go all the way up to Conness Lakes, which is right there. So we're there, we're going to there. It's about 4 miles, I'm suspecting, and Yosemite's right here, and it should be a good day. And hopefully there's some golden trout in there. That's what I read, so we'll have to see. So I'm getting a little bit later start. I just met one of my viewers named Todd over there, and I just sat and talked to him for like an hour about fishing and baseball and everything. So like my last hiking video here, I'm not going to show the hike around the lake. Because you can see it in about 5 of my other hiking videos where I go through the whole hike along this side of the lake and why I don't like to hike on the other side of the lake, and I'm making wisecracks, blah blah blah. So I'll come back to you when I'm on the back side of the lake. So Greenstone Lake is in that corner behind where the brown turns into gray. So Conness Lakes should be up around that, under that peak somewhere. And that's where we're going. Right there. That's the area. So I'm at the back of the lake, and we are not going towards Hummingbird Lake in Odell, which is some of my favorite places to fish. We are going to Greenstone Lake. And that is that away. And once again, we're entering the Hoover Wilderness. And here's beautiful Greenstone Lake. And I believe that's the trail we need to take because according to that map, we need to follow the trail around that side of the lake. And I believe we're going to go up there somewhere. It's up there. Somewhere where we can't see, and there's a lot of uphill. But one way or the other, we're fishing Conness Lakes today. Wow, there's just a huge swarm of nice brookies in here. They're only about 6 inches long. I'm gonna see if I can get a better look at them. Look at them all. There's just a huge cluster back there. And I know brook trout take over streams, they take over lakes. I like catching them, and if they can get them to be some bigger sizes, I'm all for brook trout. And I love to see healthy reproduction of trout in streams like this, and that is really, really good as far as I'm concerned. See if I can get them to move. There we go. See them swimming around in there. Look at them all. There's hundreds of them. You can't see them. They move back into the stream a little bit more, but there's just tons of them in there. And that is like a lot of good fishing in the days to come. And these couple of wet winters have really done a great deal of good for the spawning in alpine lakes, because the fish are really able to take advantage of it all over the place. And according to that map at the trailhead, if I just follow this trail along this side of Greenstone Lake, it should start to take me up there. And I think I see a waterfall where the outlet creeks are. That's actually Lee Vining Creek up there. That connects the Conness Lakes and then eventually comes down here and empties into Saddlebag Lake and then becomes a fork of Lee Vining Creek down below. And full disclosure, until I saw that map this morning, I was going to, when I fished Z Lake the other week, I was coming out of there and I saw a cross-country route where I saw the outlet coming out, and I was just gonna come up here and cross-country it up there. And now that I saw that map, I'm like, oh, I'll just take the trail. Here's an idea. Just take the trail and don't climb over giant boulders and cliffs. Here's where a little bit of guessing starts. My God, this trail goes around to the back. There's the outlets to Conest up there. I'm thinking this trail seems to go in the wrong direction if I cross this right here. I'm gonna stick with hugging this. And if worst case scenario, I can just battle over that, no problem. Watch these brook trout run for it. There they go. There's a whole school. There's just so many brookies. There's everywhere. Look at them all. And years when it's not a lot of snow, this is probably all dry. So hopefully these can make it into the lake before that happens. So I picked up a pretty good predominant trail at the back of the lake once I got beyond all this water. It looks like it's heading straight into these rocks. So we're gonna have to see how this goes. This is like an onion that's unpeeling slowly, and whether or not we're gonna hit a rotten layer is yet to be seen. All right, that looks more dangerous than I care to go over. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over and go up and over that rocky area, because that stream is coming out of Conness Lakes. And I'm obviously not the first person to make that call, because there's a trail just where the rocks ended that I just crossed. I'm on a definite trail now. So let's get up there. Woo! So there's the pond at the back of Greenstone Lake. I went around, crossed those rocks, picked up the trail on the other side of the rocks. And that took me to right here. And I'm on a definite trail that's going up. And since up is where I want to go, I think I'm on the right path. The wind's coming up in a hurry. It's supposed to get really windy today. So that'll be fun to deal with when I'm trying to fish. So that's that little skinny trail I shimmied up. There's a fork that goes over there that seems to be a trail to nowhere. I'm gonna follow this trail to the right because I believe that's where we need to go. We still got brook trout at this level. These are brookies for sure. I thought when I first walked up I saw goldens, but no, these are brookies. So we must go higher. Higher! And there's the waterfalls that go, I believe that's Lee Vining Creek, and that's this creek that comes down. There's brookies down here, but I don't think they can get up that. And that kind of geological isolation is good if there's a population of golden trout up there. Because if brookies get up there, they will take over that lake. They don't need very strict reproduction conditions. They can outcompete the goldens, and eventually the goldens will become fewer and fewer and then become extinct in the lake. So as much as I like to catch brook trout, I prefer to have a situation like that that'll protect that golden trout population, if in fact there is a golden trout population up there. So I missed a turn. I should have crossed the creek, but I'll cross it right here because I can see a well-defined trail right there. So I believe the main trail might be on the other side of this creek, but either way it'll get you there on a trail. I'd have to say this trail that's carved in must be the way. So, and it goes right up there, and there's that killer waterfall. Some kind of falcon cruising around in front of that waterfall. Very cool. If my cousin Lance was here, he could tell you exactly what kind of falcon that is. There's a link to my cousin Lance's wildlife photography Instagram on my channel homepage. And if you've seen him hiking with me, I can point to any bird when we're hiking and I'll be like, what's that one? Oh yes, that's a yellow-breasted whippoorwill. That's a fine specimen. The guy knows every single bird I can possibly point out. I don't know how he obtained this knowledge, but I guess it was through a lot of study. Whew. This is a bit of a climb up here. If you've got bad knees, bad hips, maybe a heart problem, this might not be the destination for you. I don't want to put limits on anybody. I'm just saying, keep it in mind. The trail's getting a little harder to follow, but it's not too bad. I mean, now you just got to stay to the right of that waterfall. I can shoot right up those rocks. That's easy speasy. I've gone over far worse and foolish to cross terrain than that in my day. There's actually a pretty good trail that goes around that madness. So we don't need to find out what if. We can actually just take the established trail. There's where I crossed the creek over. You can see that well-defined trail. And there's Saddlebag Lake way down below. And that's 10,000 feet, so we're getting up there. We're gonna be probably like 10.7, 10.8, if not higher by the time we get to these lakes. And the thin air is taking its toll on my lungs. Check that out. How killer is that terrain, man? Whenever I'm on a trail through rocks and stuff like this, I always look for boot prints inside of the little dirt patches, because that can sometimes set you straight. Sometimes it can be the boot print of a fool who has no idea where they're going, which I followed those in the snow a few times, but I think I'm on solid ground here. I'm on a pretty well-defined trail here, and this is where it crosses these rocks. So I'm assuming this is where I need to go. And I just need to be careful. What I'm gonna do is, even though my pole's a one piece, I'm gonna strap it onto my pack so I have one free hand for sure, and if I start to fall, I'll just throw my camera just like that, so I have two hands. Like I said, I ain't got no time to be healing no broken bones. You definitely don't want to go Bob Dylan Rolling Stone down this thing, but it's not that hard to cross. You know, I'm just kind of keeping contact with this hand and just shimmying my way across this. And my boots got pretty good grip. So if you've watched enough of my hiking clips, you know, if I see something I'm not sure of, I will turn around. So don't even think twice that I'm gonna like risk my life to get here. I could easily just go back down and fish for brookies in that creek. So right here, got a little bit of a boot print in this one little patch of dirt. And then right above it, there's a trail. Now, the trail actually goes up and around. And there's a little cairn, which is stacked rocks right there. I don't know how much better that is than the way that I went. So, I'm just glad I'm where I am. If we get there, does anyone really care how ugly the sausage making was on the way to the destination? As long as we get there safe and sound, that's the goal. This hike definitely has a lot of twists and turns. I'm at the top, there's that waterfalls right below here. This is more like a cross-country hike than a regular hike. So just before you set out, understand it's a little shaky at times, but the destination's pretty clear from below, so just be careful. That's all I can say. Just be careful. Make sure someone knows where you're going. In other words, you go up to a place like this and you go down, they're liable to find your skeleton the next year. Woo, what a view that is, man. There's Greenstone Lake, all those creeks I passed, Saddlebag Lake, the trail along that I didn't film this time. Well, once you get up here, there's a nice easy trail, a lot of bedrock, and I'm hoping the lake is right ahead. I don't know if that's Conness Lakes number 1 or 2, if it's up there, but I'll find out. If there's no lake, then we got to go up another level. And there are little fish in here, and these are goldens. I'm pretty sure these are goldens. There'll be gold in this creek. Obviously my 1800s gold miner voice is just as bad as my pirate voice. And it looks like we made it to Conness Lakes. There's number 1 and number 2. Number 2 might be right up there. But if I can get goldens in here, that'll be good enough for me. This is just an incredible area to spend the day. We gotta wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed the adventurous hike up to Conness Lakes. That hike's a little bit more of an adventure, as I said a couple times, getting up here. It isn't like doing the loop where you just walk on the flat trail and you see a lake there and then you just might have to scurry down to the lake. It took a little bit of wayfinding, figuring things out, and going over some tricky terrain to get here. But we're here, and I got to show it to you, finally. Because I tried to come up here a couple years ago, and I tried to go up behind Steelhead Lake, and all I ran into was a cliff, and the cliff is no good. I ain't got no ropes, and I don't like heights. So, hope you enjoyed this hike to one of the Conness Lakes. I'm not sure which one. I'm getting ready to get into some really windy fishing. Thank you for joining me on Witness with Amani. Until next time.